Shalom, shalom, Yasharallah. I hope all is well. I wasn't going to make a video tonight, but I was reminded of something that I talked about a while back. And that is that the Fed now, if you know what that is, it is to be implemented in July, this July, and we only have a couple weeks left. And because I was reminded of that, and I was reminded of what Revelations says right here in chapter 13, and let me tell you, there's no coinkydinks, no coincidence that I made, we talked about what we talked about in the last video about the names of blasphemy. The Most High showed me, he showed a lot of us, that the tribulation, that this time of trial started in 2017. How long have I been telling y'all that? Okay. And last night I saw videos of tanks driving down the highway in Idaho, Ospers or whatever they call them planes that's got propellers on them so they can fly like a helicopter or a airplane. I seen dozens of those landing, and there was sightings of it happening all over the place. I saw this fiery crown looking thing in the sky yesterday. There's just so much that's happening, and you probably know that. But what you might not know, this word right here, Revelations chapter 13 and 14, it's got some great new insight that you need to understand going forward if you want to live or not. So let's read this real quick, and you'll see how this coincides with what we talked about in the 441st video I made a few nights ago. So let's take it from the top. Chapter 13, verse 1. And I stood on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast coming up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and on his horns 10 crowns, and on his heads names of blasphemy. Don't touch that dial, Mishpachah. I showed a picture a while back. We talked about that from Babylon, Mystery Babylon, and the word is going to confirm and verify, validate everything I'm saying here. So don't touch the dial, park your butt, and turn your ears on and open your eyes and listen to what this word is going to break down for you if you truly have your ears and your eyes open and on. From ancient Babylon, it created 7 religions. That's why we read last time, I think it was in Isaiah, when it said, she who is born 7 shall pine away. Her sun shall go down on her while it is still yet daytime. That was a parable. That wasn't literal. He wasn't talking about the sun actually going down. He's talking about the fall of Babylon. 7 heads and 10 horns. Now the 10 horns, I'm not for sure what that is. Maybe we'll find out later. But we know that the names of blasphemy, like Lord and God and Jesus, came from Babylon. So that's who this is talking about. That's the first beast. I was wrong. I used to say that it was the UK or Rome and then Greece, or now it's America. No, right here he tells us The names of blasphemy on their head. And you're going to see the word is going to confirm what I'm speaking to you right now. And before I go any further, the word's been showing us, I've been relaying the memo that the curse that came upon the whole earth when Adam and Eve ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, the curse is pride. I heard a saying last night that I want to repeat to you. I shared it on Facebook. It's easy to fool a person, isn't it? It's pretty easy to do that, to fool a person. But what is next to impossible is to convince someone that they have been fooled. They don't want to admit that they've been wrong. That is the curse. It's the pride. Without that, you can never come to the truth completely, the way you must come to it in order to live. And the word's going to validate that and confirm that to you if you don't touch that dial. In order to be truly humble, you have to ask yourself, how long have we been talking about this? You have to look in the mirror and take a good long look. Look at what you believe in. Look at the things you do, the things you say, or what you don't do, or what you don't say, and see truly if it lines up with the word. And if you can't do that, because you're afraid of what your friends are going to think about you, you don't want to look stupid, you think you're holier than thou, smarter than someone else, you're a know-it-all. You are the opposite of humble. Pride comes before destruction. It is the curse. So you have to listen to what this word says. You have to be willing to consider what it is you're doing. And if the word, and the word will reveal it to you, hopefully sooner rather than later. Hopefully it won't be too late for you. And that this time, that the reason I'm being led to bring this to you is because this is a time that the Most High, in His great abundant mercy, He's given you time to self-correct, to correct course in order that you can live, because that's how much He loves you. So let's keep reading. Verse 2, and the beast I saw was like a leopard. That means he moves swiftly. And his feet were like the feet of a bear. That means he tramples everything in sight. He crushes everything. And his mouth like the mouth of a lion. What's a lion do? He roars and devours. How long have we been talking about what pride has done and what falsehood has done? It's devoured the land, has it not? And the dragon, Satan, the serpent of old, gave him his power and his throne and great authority. What's that great authority? Now, here's one. I can admit to you right here how I was wrong. I used to think that was like the Constitution, the laws that came from like Rome. It's not. You're going to see what it is. And I will admit to you right here publicly that I was wrong. And I saw one of his heads as having been slain to death. So one of the heads of one of the religions dies. I'm not sure what that is. I'm sure he'll show us. And his deadly wound was healed, and all the earth marveled after the beast. Does the world not marvel after all these religions? Christianity, the crookedness, these stumbling blocks, they do. And they worship the dragon who gave authority to the beast. And they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like the beast, who is able to fight with him? Meaning these people who were worshiping Babylon. And when you worship Babylon, when you're eyeball deep in crookedness and falsehood, who it is you're worshiping is Satan. And see how Satan works. He is the author of deception. You don't realize that that's who you're worshiping, but you indeed are. And he was given a mouth speaking great matters and blasphemies. Blasphemies. And he was given authority to do so how long? 42 months. 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemies against the Most High. Most people think that the beast is like I did. I thought it was America and all these. They think it's going to be some system or whatever. But what system do you know that opens their mouth in great blasphemies against the Most High? Against his name, to blaspheme his name. That's what Babylon does. That's what LORD represents, JESUS and GOD, and among others. And his tent. That's symbolic. These people have churches, congregations, where you go in there, and blasphemy is taught and produced on high. And what do they say? They say it's the house of the Lord. Well, it is. They think it's of the Most High, but it's not. It's of Baal, Satan, Nimrod, Zeus, whatever you want to call it. Whatever name looks good that day, I guess. And those dwelling in the heaven. How do they blaspheme those dwelling in the heaven? The Catholic Church used to bring in statues, and they would tell you that it was a statue of Peter, but it was actually of like Jupiter or something. And they would have people come in and kiss the toes. They lied about what they said. They've changed their names. They've blasphemed even those dwelling in heaven. And it was given to him to fight with the set apart ones and to overcome them. And authority was given to him over every tribe and tongue and nation. See, and that's another thing. I've been saying that this is the dragon being wroth with the woman and the remnant of her seed. It is. But the war hasn't been completely visible to me, and it's not to most, even to this day. What beast, what group do you know that has been given authority over every tribe, tongue, and nation? Christianity, crookedness, and all the other religions. What over there, those monks, like the people in like Indonesia or whatever, Christianity wouldn't have worked on the majority of those people, but Hinduism didn't it? Or in the Middle East, Islam did for those people. But it's all the same thing. You can trace it all back to Babylon. That's where it came from. And all those dwelling on the earth whose names have not been written in the book of life and of the slain lamb from the foundation of the world shall worship him. All right, now turn your ears on. We're going to read this, and then the next chapter is going to confirm everything I said. So we're going to come back to chapter 13, so we can, because we need to get the understanding of this. We got to get it right, or it's bye-bye. Do you understand? If anyone has an ear, let him hear. He who brings into captivity shall go into captivity. We've been reading in Ezekiel, Jeremiah, Isaiah, all over the place. That what created that wall was those sons of Babylon. That the enemy has led the world into captivity of those falsehoods. If you aren't guarding your mouth, and what it is you say. And if you're out here publishing falsehood and you're leading into captivity, you must be led into captivity. He who kills with what? With the sword. With the sword, with the word, the twisted interpretation of Abba's word has to be killed with the sword. Here is the endurance and the belief of the set apart ones right there. See that last part where it says here is the endurance and the belief of the set apart ones. They're set apart. I can only speak from my own experience, but one of my, if not the battle, the hardest battle I've had to overcome is people, and I talk about this all the time, people trying to convince me, you have to have fellowship. Just come in here. He don't care if you call him Lord. That's why it says right there, here is the endurance. You have to endure through that and stand strong. Hold on strong and overcome the temptation to blaspheme the Most High and His Son and those dwelling in heaven for some comfort, for some fellowship. You have to endure that. Here is the endurance and the belief of the set apart ones, the belief. And I saw another beast coming up out of the earth. And he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spoke like a dragon. Why do you think it says he had 2 horns like a lamb? Who is referred to as the lamb in the word? I only know one, and that's the Messiah. He had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spoke like a dragon. What is it? What's it mean to speak like a dragon? That means fire comes out of your mouth and you consume everything in sight. It's destruction. And he exercises all the authority of the first beast in his presence. What Babylon with Nimrod and Ishtar and all that achieved back in ancient Babylon times, which died, but somehow Mystery Babylon still lives and exists to this day. All that authority they had back then, they still exercise that same authority of the first beast in his presence, and causes the earth and those who dwell in it to worship the first beast. If you believe that Jesus is his name and that he is the Father, and that you're going to be raptured out of here, and that you don't, the law's done away with, you know all this. I don't have to repeat all that to you. You know. That's exactly what it's talking about here. If you do all that, you're worshiping Babylon, the Mystery Babylon, the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he does great signs so that he even makes fire come down from the heaven on the earth before men. What that is exactly, I'm not sure. And he leads astray those dwelling on the earth because of those signs. He leads astray those dwelling on the earth because of those signs which he was given to do before the beast, saying to those dwelling on the earth to make an image to the beast who was wounded by the sword yet lived. Babylon. Everything that comes out of the TV screen, it's promotion, worship of Babylon, and ultimately of the dragon. And there was given to him to give spirit to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause to be killed as many as would not worship the image of the beast. Everything, what I was talking about earlier, if you are prideful, and that pride that has you puffed up, that has prevented you from taking a good hard look in the mirror to see if what you're doing is right? The reason you can't, it was born out of a television. The way society is today, the way you want to live to fit in, it came from a TV. The Messiah, the way you think you know him right now, is Jesus, and all this falsehood. It was created on a television screen for people living right here in this time, day and time. And he causes all, both small and great, and rich and poor, and free and slave, to be given a mark upon their right hand or upon their foreheads, and that no one should be able to buy or sell except he that has the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is the wisdom. He who has understanding, let him calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Now, I've made plenty of videos about this in the past, about what John actually wrote. He didn't write 666. He wrote 3 letters. That's what he wrote. And yes, in numerology, they do add up to 666. But the 3 letters he wrote are the 3 letters used to spell Jesus, IESUS, Iesus. Now, let's see what 14 says, and you'll see how it confirms what I was just saying. And I looked and saw a lamb standing on Mount Sion, and with him, see, before that, when it was talking about the beast, it said he had 2 horns like a lamb, but he spoke like a dragon. He wasn't a lamb. This is the lamb standing on Mount Sion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written on their foreheads. Not names of blasphemy, the name of the Father. Abba, Yahuwah, the Most High, our wonderful Creator. And I heard a voice out of the heaven, like the voice of many waters, and like the voice of loud thunder. And I heard the sound of harpists playing their harps. And they sang a renewed song before the throne. We were just talking about the scriptures told us. It breaks everything down for us. It defines everything it says. That song right there, we were just shown in scripture in Isaiah. It's the praise of Abba Yahuwah alone, that he gets all esteem. That's the song they're singing. And you're going to see. And before the 4 living creatures and the elders, and no one was able to learn that song except the 144,000 who were redeemed from the earth. Why do you think it is that no one else was able to learn it? Because the wrong shall not understand. They want to call him all kinds of names of blasphemy. They think it's okay to do so. They think the law's done away with. They think the good news is falsehood. But right here, it's going to tell you here in just a second what the good news is. And we've talked about this before. They are those who were not defiled with women. It told us about that. It's not talking about literal women. It's talking about the daughters of Babylon that has defiled the land, that you see all around the world. All these people believe in these myths and these legends. They are defiled by these women, for they are maidens. They are those following the Lamb, the truth, wherever he leads them on. They were redeemed from among men, being first fruits to the Most High and to the Lamb. And in their mouth was what? Was found no falsehood. For they are blameless before the throne of the Most High. And I saw another messenger flying in mid-heaven, holding the everlasting good news to announce to those dwelling on the earth, even to every nation and tribe and tongue and people. So that means everybody that is under that authority of the beast, every tribe, nation, and tongue and people, they will have had the opportunity, and their ears will have heard the good news. How many people, if you're like me and you have been proclaiming the good news? How many people that you know hear the words that come out of your mouth and they deny it? They can't understand because they love their life so much. They're so prideful. They only want to fit in. They want luxuries, which all those things are going to be taken away here pretty soon. And that's what, that was the whole reason of me making this video, because when they come with that Fed now and the economic collapse that you know's coming happens, it's just going to be like when the pandemic happened. They're going to say, if you want to go back to normal, you can buy and sell and trade, but you got to take this digital ID. And why would you take that? Where'd you hear that from? From the image of the beast. They'll be talking about it all on the news like they already are. And most people will say, well, I gotta have hamburger every day. I have to go out to eat and buy my girlfriend the diamond ring that I promised her, and the house, the American dream, and all this. You have to be willing to walk barefoot, like I've been saying, like the Messiah has been saying for him. You have to be willing to lose your life if you want to actually save it. You have to endure to the end. You have to be someone who has heard the good news, the everlasting good news, and you've went with it. You stood on that truth. You followed the Lamb wherever he led you on. The good news. And I saw another messenger flying amid heaven, holding the everlasting good news to announce to those dwelling on the earth, every nation, tribe, tongue, and people, saying, this is the good news. With a loud voice, fear the Most High. Don't be calling him names of blasphemy. Read his word. Don't let man tell you their falsehood interpretations of it and just follow blindly because you want to fit in with the crowd. You have to be willing to walk alone, and you're going to have to. When what I was just talking about happens, when they enforce this digital ID, like I said, there'll be people snitching on each other. They'll say, we ain't going back to normal until everyone gets in line. That's what they're going to do. Just like they did with the pandemic. There'll be people trying to convince you. There'll be people trying to take your kids from you. They probably will take your kids from you. You might not have a vehicle. They'll do away with gasoline cars. They're going to crunch. They're going to bring the squeeze down on you. And if you are about this life and you're not humble enough to just follow the Lamb, the truth, wherever he leads you on, you'll be hoodwinked. Hook, line, and sinker. You'll follow the crowd just for a few more days of comfort. My dad, when he told me to come explain to him why he shouldn't take that shot, I went and told him, because this was his dilemma. They told he was on dialysis, and they said, if we kick you off dialysis, which is what we're going to have to do if you don't take the jab, you'll be dead in 2 weeks. So he chose to take that jab so he could stay on dialysis so he wouldn't die in 2 weeks. He took the jab and was dead within 1 week. So he lost his life either way. Don't let that be you, Mishpachah. There's a reason that the Most High has cultivated my life the way he has. People have been saying, well, you gotta have a home, you gotta have this, you gotta have that. You can't have none of that stuff. You should be prepared right now to walk and eat grass, like I've been saying, on the side of a mountain somewhere, waiting till the Messiah's return. There should be nothing in this life worth you losing your life for. And that's the test. That's this trial we're going to have to go through. The good news is that you fear the Most High and what you give esteem to him, because the hour of his judgment has come, and worship him, not Babylon, not falsehood. Worship the Most High, who made the heaven and the earth and sea and fountains of water. And see right here, verse 8, it's just more confirmation to confirm to you what I've been saying is true. And another messenger followed, saying, what? Babel is fallen, that great city, because she has made all the nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her whoring. So do you see these people who are thinking this beast is going to come and make you take this jab, which it is, but only the people who are buried in falsehood are going to do that, because they think that they have to have this life. They think raptures are coming. They ain't been following the Lamb wherever he's led them on in truth, digging for the truth to find out what it is. They still think it's okay to call him these names of blasphemy. They think that the tree of the knowledge of good and evil was an actual tree, that they ate some mango or something that caused a curse to come upon them. They ain't been led by the truth. That means they're going to be swept away. They've built their house on sand. And a third messenger followed them, saying with a loud voice, if anyone worships the beast and his image, if you worship, look, I just told you back there, it said this, here's the wisdom. The number of his name is 666. He didn't write 666. Go look it up. Prove me wrong. You ain't gonna. I've done proven this fact. It's called Papyrus 115. It's a fragment that shows what he wrote. He wrote the three letters that make up J-E-S-U-S, but it's actually I-E-S-U-S or I-E-O-S-U-S. And yes, they do add up to 666. And if you put all the clues out together, if you're like a detective, like you need to be, and you lay all the evidence that the word gives you, you're going to come back to the lie of J-E-S-U-S, which came from Babylon, whose deadly wound was healed. He was, but is not, but yet is. Do you see? He's here. Babylon. If anyone worships the beast and his image and receives his mark upon his forehead or upon his hand, he also shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High. There you go. If you try to save your life now, and you go along and you worship Babylon, the beast, which is worshiping the dragon, you're going to have to face the wrath of the Most High. And that's a day you do not want to come to, which is poured out undiluted into the cup of his wrath. And he shall be tortured with the fire and sulfur before the set apart messengers and before the Lamb. And the smoke of their torture goes up. Look, we ain't got to read all that. You already know what's going to happen. But there was a reason that I was led to show you that by saying L-O-R-D and J-E-S-U-S and J-G-O-D is using names of blasphemy, and it's breaking the one of the 10 commandments that says you shall not take his name in vain. And what that symbolizes to me, to someone who is set apart, who is unwilling to follow the crowd, what that shows me in a person that's willing to do those things, to call them by them names and to believe in falsehood, is that you're blind, you're in the category with the wrong, you can't see it. The dragon and the beast has caused you, led you astray, and it's just symbolic of where your faith is, your belief. And that you've had no endurance. You've succumbed to the world and their demands. And it's only going to get worse, Mishpachah. If, what's that old saying? You You have to stand for something or you'll fall for anything. You have to make a stand. You have to say, no, Christianity is Babylon, a form of Babylon. It is falsehood. He's not the Father. His name ain't Jesus. That says Hail Zeus. It's blasphemous. That's not the house of the Abba Yahuwah, the Most High. He would have nothing to do with that abominable, wretched place that has Christmas trees, phallic symbols all in it and on top of it, and celebrates Babylon. You have to be willing to set yourself completely apart now if you haven't already. And you have to be willing to stay set apart. That's your endurance and your belief. You have to understand that the Torah has not been done away with. It's for your good, and it's the only way to live. Not by your achievements in it, but by your following it so that you may live. Because it's like the basic analogy that I've always give. It's like sticking your finger in the light socket. If you stick your finger in the light socket, you're going to get shocked. The instruction is, that's a light socket. If you stick your finger in there, you're going to get electrocuted. Don't do that, son. Don't electrocute yourself. And what these Christians, these blind, falsehood-loving, wrong people will tell you is, you can stick your finger in the light socket because Hail Zeus came and died and done away with that, and you're no longer under that instruction anymore. But what's the truth? The truth is that you're going to get electrocuted if you stick your finger in that light socket. Don't be led astray, Mishpachah. Don't be hoodwinked and fooled. Set yourself apart now. Like I said, you must be willing to walk barefoot and eat grass until your time comes. And you know it's coming. Make sure you're on the right side. Don't be defiled by these women, these daughters of that whore of Babylon, with names of blasphemy written on her forehead. Are those names written on your forehead, or is the name Yahuwah written there? As for me and my house, we serve Abba Yahuwah, the Most High, face down, baby. Giving all honor, all praise, all glory, and all esteem to only Him and Him alone. Till next time, peace out.